lot of interest in other activities.
Yes.
We'll call this meeting of the Conservation Commission to order at 7:32 on July 21st of 2022. Seeing no people in the room, residents in the room, nor having received any comments, there are no public comments this evening. I will say Kate had asked if she could join us remotely tonight, so she is on my computer.
Oh, good.
And Kate, so far so good?
Yep, I can hear you.
Good. Okay.
Are you going to
see
put
us,
her up
though.
on the screen?
Yes, I could probably do that. But I'm having problems. Well, I can do that. If Kate shares her picture, I guess I can do
There she
Here
is.
she is.
Okay.
Can you
Hi,
see us
Kate.
too?
that. Good suggestion. Okay.
It looks like you're nursing something. Your shoulder.
Now, it doesn't appear that Kate can hear
Okay.
you, each of you.
All right.
So I may have to
Oh.
do a little translation along the way. She's
Okay.
gonna, as we do the edits especially, she's gonna try to follow along, and at least listen into my comments. Okay. So, our second order of business is to welcome Kathy as our minute taker. Kathy hiding in the back of the room. There are, 7 members on the commission, Kathy, and I think it's not a big stretch to say that there are 7 very, very happy people that you are here taking minutes for
We're
us.
very happy you're here.
Yes. Do you want to be sitting way back there, or do you want to be sitting up here with us? Picture. Okay.
And
All
that's
right. Well,
fine.
we like you wherever you want to be.
And Kathy, I think you have a list of the people on the commission. And if you want to go name by name, I don't think you got a chance to meet everybody. So just to associate, or you did?
No, I figured Valley, that's Paul, because someone said hi, Paul.
Okay.
That's Barbara,
There you go.
Yeah.
and that's Sharon.
Okay, great. All right, and I think we got to chit chat for a couple minutes, and I think you said you also take minutes for
The EMS commission.
EMS. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah. I
EMS?
was on the affordable housing, but I don't think I'm going back to
Okay.
my.
All right, very good. Anything we can do to make your life easier as you go along?
I'll let you know.
Okay,
I won't be
fair,
shy.
fair enough, yes, please do.
Oh, this is great.
Okay.
That's nice about me, thank you.
No,
Relief.
you're overjoyed.
Okay.
It's been a long haul.
Yes.
All right, well, with that,
I
we
was
get to
afraid I was going to be assigned tonight, too.
we get to the approval of the minutes. Is there anybody have any comments such that we cannot take them all as 3 together on one vote? Do we need to go into any of the minutes per se?
I had I believe, a correction of...
If you have a correction, then we'll take it, let's take the minutes you have a correction of and do that first, and then maybe we can do the other 2.
It's very, on the June 16th minutes, it's the last one.
Okay?
It's not Janet Rosen, it's Kate Rosen.
Right.
Also, I had,
Also, my name is spelled wrong in number
sorry.
8. That's all right.
Kate, we just corrected your name in one of the minutes.
Good, I heard.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
and on the second to last line, Decat is small D-E-K-A-D-T.
and then I had another, I guess, correction, although I'm not sure. And on the May 19th minutes, it says there was discussion regarding the meeting time and date. And the commission agreed to keep the same meeting day of the month, which is third Thursday, but to change it to 7 p.m., although the agenda said 7:30, so I assumed it was 7:30
Yeah, so I don't
anyway,
think,
so
we,
this,
we didn't agree to that, I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Who wrote those minutes? Did I? I don't think so.
Well, we can just change it.
Well, it doesn't, matters not. We do need to change that to 7:30 is our meeting time. It was not changed.
Which meetings?
5:19?
this was May 19th,
Okay.
and I don't know who took the minutes. It doesn't say.
Okay.
I took the minutes for the special meeting, I know that.
Yes, and Val took the minutes for the, for this June 16th, so I'm not sure who took the minutes.
Kate, I don't know if you could hear on the 5:19 minutes, the meeting time was just a typo. It said meeting time was going to be kept at 7 o'clock, which really was kept at 7:30.
Okay.
The proposal was 7, I think, at that point.
So with these
So-
changes, I move to approve the June 16th and the June 19th meeting minutes, 2022.
And
Well,
and the special meeting?
Hang on.
Oh, is there more?
Yeah, the June 2nd special meeting?
Oh, I didn't get those. I don't think I got those minutes.
Yeah, there was no June 19th meeting.
Oh.
It was May 19th.
May 19th, June 16th. Are those the
And-
two meetings?
And then we had the notes
special
from
meeting
the
on June
special
2nd?
meeting. I think Paul took those of June the 2nd.
Those
All
are
three-
the
all
minutes
three
that you
came.
did not,
So,
you did not attend that meeting.
Oh,
That's the meeting.
That's right.
so.
So can I change my motion and say it more correctly?
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes from June 16th, June 2nd, and May 19th of 2022, including the corrections that we just discussed.
Second.
Any second? Okay. Then no other discussion or corrections. We'll call that. All those in favor of adopting the 3 minutes?
Aye.
Please raise your hand. And we'll do it by hands, and that was all 5 people in the affirmative that are attending. Kate?
6.
Yes, also. Thank you all. Liaison report. So I don't know, I failed to look if this message went to all of you
It did.
besides, okay. For those of you who may not have read it, and I know I was going to tell Kathy, tell her. And there was been a change at the Board of Selectmen on the role of the liaisons. The liaisons will no longer be asked to attend each and every commission meeting to which they're the liaison. The liaisons will remain liaisons, but their roles will just change a little. They will be a resource to us. If we need to reach out, we can either reach out to the first selectman or to the liaison to get some help on any specific issue, question, and so forth. The chairs of the various commissions and boards will be asked to write a quarterly summary report, activities, I guess, to go up to the Board of Selectmen and be included in their packet. Anything I missed from that, Sharon? Does that
No,
pretty
that's
much
what I
capture it?
understand too.
Yep.
Do we understand that the liaisons can, I mean, they're perfectly welcome to come
Yes.
to any meetings?
Yeah, yes.
If they want to, or we want them
Yes.
to.
And in
I mean-
fact, I had intention to get in touch with Dave Lober today, and it pure dropped out of my mind. I was out of town and I got back and I missed it. So I will give him a call and make sure he knows that he is welcome to come and join us.
Yeah.
I thought, I wasn't sure if he was going to come tonight or not. I left him on the agenda just in case he did, but I'll make it clear to him that
I think it's been
welcome
really,
his presence because he's been helpful. I think
Yeah,
that's-
he's been
Yeah, I
really
think he's
helpful.
He has
extremely
been
helpful.
very-
yeah, so we would love him to
Yeah.
visit
Yeah, yeah.
at least
Yeah.
a couple
And
times a
then,
year.
you know, we can take advantage if we have items that we want him to attend for. I'm sure we can ask him. He's shown himself to be very accommodating and helpful, so. All right. So with that, I will say, just to open up member comments and items for next time, I asked Tony Genovese to attend our next meeting, and he has accepted. And I've given him the various list of items that we've talked about over time to talk about.
What's the
And I
date
can
of
send
that
those
meeting?
back out. Let me send them back out, Sharon, if you will. And if you see something on there that's not, you know, that or something else, I'll just send it to him. I don't think that's a big deal.
Can you just remind me of the date of that meeting? I don't have my phone on me.
Ken, if you give me a minute. Let's see.
Might be faster.
So
just
that would be August the 18th, as I see it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
It's right on the piece of paper, or on the agenda. I should have remembered that I put it there.
Oh, there you go.
I try to do that every time, but I've forgotten myself. Okay. So, other
I-
comments from?
Should we just bring our own questions, or should we try to coordinate our questions?
Well, I gave him the questions that have been raised within our various meetings.
Okay,
I think I have a pretty comprehensive list. I did add one that I had having to do with PA 3 or 490, I forget at the moment. But if you see something that's not on the list, I'll send it out.
okay.
And and if you see something else, let's, you know, I guess I'd ask you to send it to me, and I'll consolidate and I'll send it to them. I'll do it that way. Just-
Okay.
So. Okay, other comments, items for next meeting?
I just mentioned that we're supposed to have a conference call or a Zoom meeting with the woman who heads up the Planning and Zoning Commission in Westport to discuss their tree ordinance and what they've learned from it. And we're supposed to do
Great.
that sometime the week of August 1st. I just have to nail down a date.
Perfect. All right. So should I put an item on for next time for the tree ordinance? Sort of
Yeah.
a little update?
Yeah,
an
I
update?
think-
Reporting? Yeah, I think
we
so.
can update
Okay.
you on
Good.
what we learned.
Yep. And I think Diana's was part of the little subcommittee.
Oh, okay.
too.
It was
Yeah.
Barbara, Valerie, and myself, right? Or was it Diana too?
I think it
I
was,
think.
I think it was Diana and you and I.
Yeah.
Oh, it was,
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yes.
I'll send Diana a note to
Yeah.
let her know.
Great. All right, so Kate, did you get any of that, or do I need to?
Good.
Excuse
So
me?
next week, our next meeting on the 18th, you're gonna generate the questions that we've already gathered. I'm good.
Okay, yeah, and then there's a real tree ordinance update. Leave it at that. All right,
So-
good, thank you.
We going over new business or questions, just kind of open discussion right
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
So I watched the last planning and zoning commission meeting, and maybe I missed one, but I didn't hear them discuss Merritt Avenue. Has that been discussed yet, or?
I do not believe it has. At the time that it passed out of internal wetlands, inland wetlands, excuse me, I talked to John Paul Garcia shortly before or after, I don't recall, and he said that they were not going to be submitting it right away to planning and zoning. And so I expect that's why we haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen a meeting from them lately. I imagine it's got to be coming up. I don't remember their schedule top of my
I
head.
think the last one was July 5th, so it must be coming up.
Maybe August 5th.
Yeah,
Yes,
somewhere
so I
around
would
there.
expect you'd see it on that one.
Have we communicated our recommendation to them yet?
We did back,
Okay.
uh, we have communicated twice with them.
Okay,
The latest being after our last meeting.
Last meeting.
okay,
Yes. Yes.
okay.
Now,
So maybe they're
the-
waiting to discuss that until
the-
they actually have the
Yeah,
application.
what I was told, I talked to Chris Sullivan, is that information that we sent has not yet been given to planning and zoning. She would not do that until the actual matter is introduced to them,
I see,
so they can tie it together.
Mm-hmm,
right.
Basically, you don't want them
right,
to have read it
Discuss something that
months
doesn't.
ago and then they
right, exactly.
you've forgotten.
Right,
So that's a good thing.
okay,
That, I think that will happen. And I've been watching, but I haven't seen any notices that there's been postings of materials. So I would expect that August 5th, that week, they would come up again.
is there anything in the Toll Brothers condominium development on Bradley Road for us, or is that already
It's a
passed?
good question.
It's a question I asked some months ago, actually. And I wrote to Chris and she wrote back and said, no, because it is not a subdivision matter at this point in time.
Okay,
At a point in time in the past, it may have been, but that's already been, it's an approved use for the land, that it's been approved by the town already. It's already gone through planning and zoning. So there is no play. What they have to do is review the exact plan now that they've flushed it out.
I see,
I think that it's, that's a little imprecise in its language, but basically, that was my understanding coming back from Chris.
okay.
And on that same vein, have you heard anything more about the Rimmon Road project?
I have not. I did not get did not have the opportunity to watch the inland wetlands meeting last night. And I do not, and did not get a chance today to see if the video was posted to take a look. So it may have come up last night.
It did,
It did?
did? Oh.
yes, it
Well,
did, they,
then can
yeah,
you
they did
tell us
discuss
more?
it. And there was one neighbor that had some comments on it, some questions. The engineer was supposed to develop some answers to the questions,
Okay.
and they tabled it to their next meeting for further discussion.
Okay.
There's apparently not that much wetlands on the property, I
Mm.
guess. I guess there's some, but not that much.
No, is it does anybody know, is it the property that has the big gates out at the end? It's almost contiguous with the park,
I'm guessing it is, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
that's
right,
where
it's somewhere in that vicinity.
right there. I think it's that property,
Yeah.
because that's a big piece of
Well-
property, I know.
The piece of property hits Rimmon Road in 3 different places.
Oh, okay.
And in between, there are houses. Between, I don't know, I can't probably do this, but in between 2 of the prongs, I
Uh-huh,
think there are houses, or at least there are privately other held lands.
little,
So the gates may be on one of those and very close to the proximity. When I drove by, I looked and it looked like a nice piece of property.
yeah, it goes
Very
back.
wooded.
It goes all the way back to the, it's got parkland quite a ways around,
Yes.
mostly
Waters
around it.
Water Company property.
Or water company, yeah.
So, Paul, given that it was raised last night, I'd expect that, well, that's wetlands, excuse me. That was a bad misthought on my part. No, I'll withdraw that thought.
There's, I think we talked about this last meeting, but I think there are 3 houses on the property proposed, and there's like almost 30 acres or
Mhm.
somewhere in that range, so there's quite a bit of land there.
And 10 acres was supposed to be set aside for open space?
That was verbally told to me. I haven't seen the plans. I was waiting until
Mhm.
it hit in the wetlands to, I should be able to go up. I'm not sure if I'd be able to see the plans online. If I can't see them online, then we'll request a copy.
Okay.
to see what the plan is.
That would be interesting to see
Yes, and
what's,
so am I.
what,
So that might be on next month's agenda
Yeah,
too?
I think we'd have more information. We'll have not only this, last night's meeting, but next month's meeting as well. They usually meet the night before. I was just, as I said, out of town today and didn't get a chance to
Mm-hmm.
do much with it.
Okay.
But as you see the way the things go, we'll have a few months to understand. And, so yes, and we'll make sure we have a chance to at least take a look at that next month. Okay. Barbara, anything from you?
anything from me? Well,
Comments?
I'm not sure where or when, this is just a point of information for all of us, that, I don't know whether everybody knows that 124 Seymour Road, which is the easement going into the trail, has just been put up for sale.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, all 13 acres.
Really?
So, just a note for us.
Well, yeah, well, maybe we'll talk a bit more about that in the context of
Right,
reviewing.
that's why I said I didn't know when
Thank
to
you.
bring this
Yeah.
up.
Okay, interesting. Anything else, Sean?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Why don't- Then we'll move on to our work session, and the work session is meant to go until people have to leave or retire of it. What I'd like to do is just bring up the individual sections that you've each reviewed and just make sure everybody's understands and see if there's anything else to add to the modifications which suggested, and then I'll take those back and I'll consolidate it all. Then next time, my hope would be that we would, I've edited some of the other sections, and we'd go through the other, I'll provide those ahead of time, and we can go through some of the other sections. There's the verbiage sections, kind of the introduction, you know, just making it a complete document. And then there's the extensions, the expansions, and I think we probably want to spend some time on those. And I mean, that's the real core of what we wanted to do. And that the expansions will drive, the expansions plus what's probably not protected in the current Greenway will provide the impetus to what needs to be acquired or done going into the future. So that's where we're headed. We need to get through the nuts and bolts here. So, having said that, I'll bring up the Word document. Kate, I guess we're not going to see you anymore.
I guess before we jump into this
Yeah.
detail, I'll just make the comment. I thought walking the trail was very helpful. And I know Barbara had suggested doing that in a couple weeks, and I think that's a really great idea.
Yeah.
Again,
We're actually, because my friend is one of the people that lives at 124 Seymour Road, we're kind of starting in the middle of Wallace Section from Seymour Road, unless some people want to start from Coachman's, which makes it much shorter.
Well, no, I think that's the beginning of the section as it's outlined
Yeah,
in
that's
the
the
document, so we
beginning
should
of
start there.
Val's
120
second section.
the Coachman's Lane is to me, an
Yeah,
alternate access.
it's a sneak in.
Yeah, it's another way in. But Paul, thank you for the comment. I thought it was great too, and would invite, if you can force yourself to get up early, Kate, on a Saturday. We had a real nice walk a week or so ago, and join us if you can. I will send out notice for that meeting, for that walk, as it sounds like we're going to get more than a quorum, so I want to know. I'm just going to notice any walk we do, just so that's
Okay,
we're covered.
Fine.
We'll notice it if we're there. No.
We don't have to have notes or minutes, rather, from our walks.
I'll put together a minimal amount of minutes.
Okay.
You know,
We started
the
here,
commission.
we ended
The
there.
commission met
And we started here and ended there.
We tripped over a lot.
I don't know, do you think, one of my maps, I think it's in there, it says that it's about 3 miles, the whole thing. Is that satisfactory for everybody? There is a little bit of steep area in the beginning, I guess. Although if you
Well,
go
it's a
in
hill,
through,
yeah.
you go through Coachman's,
There's no-
you don't have to go up the steep, I don't think.
Actually, the hill at Coachman, to me, is a little steeper than the one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Now, the one off Rimmon is a little longer, but it's an uphill.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not scrambling, it's not overly steep, it's not
Okay.
afraid
Certainly-
of heights steep. It's uphill.
Mhm. Oh, that's no
It's,
big
you know,
deal.
So you can start and get your heart pounding right away, and then it's downhill from there. So, as far as the length goes, I mean, that's a consideration, and I didn't try to measure that. We can.
It
On some-
says on these maps,
On some of the maps, you can add together
the
the
trail map,
distances.
it says it's about 3.5 miles, I believe.
What it looks like?
Well, from Seymour Road, from the Demander property to the entrance to the Whipplewog Falls property. And people might want to just keep on going through Whipplewog's Fall and end up here. But I think we should do the car
I think
thing like
having
we
a car at
last.
each end, that was great.
Is great, yeah.
Can I look at the one, is the one that you're gonna reference, the one in our box folder that you're gonna work from?
No. No, these were individual changes sent by each of the commission members, so we're just gonna present them individually.
Okay.
This is-
So, just so I can prepare while Barbara prepares that, who had sections 2 and 3?
Sharon,
I did.
Okay, we'll start there.
Oh, here it is.
Diana had 1A and 1. She's not
Yes.
not here, so we'll just push on with,
between there,
may work with your desire
see,
to,
it's 2 miles, and between there is a half mile. So I don't think it's that bad.
The goal should be to cover the whole.
Yeah,
the whole
and I would love to just keep on going down there.
Yeah.
We might have a car
Let's see if I
in
can
Do the map?
places.
I do have a map.
There's Sharon.
I think I will cut the lights in the front to improve the visibility.
Okay.
Bear with me. And maybe put them on in the back.
That's good. Better.
Just like that.
Oh, this is the
Okay, there are the lights in the back.
darn.
It's like being at the
This doesn't
IMAX,
show
better or
the
worse?
trails. Just shows the properties.
Okay.
I can't get it any better than that.
Have to do it this
That's
way.
the limit of what we have, unless go back a little and redo it. Okay. So. Okay. Yeah, and feel free to, this is a work session, feel free to get up and walk around. I have the map, where's the map best placed? Up here?
Does that have the trails on it?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Because this one doesn't have those.
So,
Do you want to read it, Tim?
Yeah, I don't know how best to go through this. I don't want to belabor the points. And if it's better to get up close and read it and just see the, Sharon and I actually met on this after she made the changes and I made a few. Sharon's changes are in blue, and I think I made some subsequent changes that are in red. So,
So, I mean, I can read this part, right?
yeah, you can narrate this and what you were thinking, Sharon, that'd be great.
My impression was that it started at the parking lot, I don't see it here, where Dillon and Sperry Road met. And then you go down that road, and there's a little 6-acre parcel. It's called 81 Sperry Road, and I think the waterfall's on that. It's actually, I don't think it is. I think the waterfall's also on Sperry Road, but the parcel is a little triangular piece that somehow the town owns in amongst the water company property. And then it goes on to Greenway now connects with the Southern Connecticut Regional Water Authority network of recreational trails around the Lake Chamberlain, access near the intersection of Morris Road and Sperry Road. Permission has been obtained by the Southern Connecticut Regional Water Authority and the State Public Health Department, and the trail now is in the place to that lands. Historical town-owned Casway Road section is used as part of the trail. So what happens is that you go and there's a water company trail that goes below Lake Chamberlain, and then you can either go on Casway Road or there's another trail, I think just a little, it's more rustic, that ends at 63, right, or 63,
Route
at Amity
63,
Road.
through water company property.
Through water company property, and I haven't done that, but you've done that, and there is a trail there.
Yes. The background on all this is that the water company requires permissions, you to buy a pass, essentially, to walk on their properties.
Right, but if you don't have a pass, you can go on Casway Road instead.
In this particular case, we have a workaround through Casway Road.
Right.
The water company route, turns out that they, unbeknownst to the people in Woodbridge who maintain some of the trails, they were not maintaining the trail and had no intention of maintaining the trail, and said Woodbridge was supposed to be maintaining the trails. So there was, nobody knew. When we met as the Trails Group, I brought this to everybody's attention, and there was an agreement that we would therefore maintain the trail.
You mean the land trust?
They're generous. The Trails Group, and I think that Chuck Pine, who's the trail master of the land trust, is going to pursue that with the land trust. So it may well be the land trust, and which is great. It was very generous, I thought, and hopefully it'll take a little while to get that cleaned up. Casway Road itself needs a little cleanup, and I'm supposed to go with Andy Danzig, the trail master, to take a look and we can get that cleaned up. But
Cool. And then the next thing, if you scroll down, is that the crossover of 63 Amity Road, and it's marked on both sides, and there's a sign. There's no parking area, which is a note of something that we may want to think about. And then you do a switchback up the hill, and you get to the back of Catherine Latonica's property and
sorry.
another house that was owned by Newman, who I think now is owned by somebody else. That's a little bit tricky to follow, and then the path that continues past that downhill is quite easy to follow, though it's not utilized a lot. And then you come to Newton Road, about a half a mile. And it could be better maintained as a.
All right. So, Sharon, did we ever verify that these easements do exist?
No.
Okay.
What would we do?
What are the addresses?
39 Round Hill Road, 25 Enoch Drive, 23 and 21 Enoch Drive. And part of that 25 is a town piece of land. So it's really just 23 and 21.
Okay, the trust does not have easements on any of those.
Say that again, Barbara?
The trust does not have easements on any of those
The land
addresses.
trust?
No,
The land
these-
trust.
This was granted to the town, I believe.
Right, but the trust has easements on some of the
Town
town
land,
properties.
yes, right.
I've got a list here of all the easements the trust
All right.
has.
So we know, and
So
the
that's
answer,
Your
Good
husband
question.
sent it to me.
Sharon, the answer to your question is we have to go in the land records to look for those and just
So we
verify.
could talk to Chris Sullivan about that, right?
Chris is not
No,
per se
it
the
would-
land records.
it would be Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Oh,
Yeah,
Stephanie,
yeah.
okay.
And she probably doesn't know, we'd probably have to go in ourselves to find it. Although
Okay.
she might.
And did we verify the parking with the 615 Amity Road? There was no parking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was one other item up here.
That's where we ended up the other week.
So,
Right.
I guess we never, do we know where the Getch property is?
No.
I believe that one of those houses we passed by when we did the walk the other day is Getch property.
And I'm wondering, this whole thing is still true. Getch property, Greenway Trail.
It is no longer the Getch property, but it was.
Right. Yeah, but I'm, is it, this says for Loop Trail, and I'm not sure where this means. This is part of taking this 20-year-old document and trying to figure out what they meant and is it important anymore? And what were they trying to do? And do we want it in our new document? So, this whole statement, is this just something we just say?
Well, this, you're talking about on the other side of Amity Road, on the east side of Amity Road, right? That's where Calabrese is.
I-
So I think Getch is on that same side.
Yeah,
I'm still not sure what that statement is, what the objective was, what the loop trail was. Are they talking about the great loop trail around the whole town?
No.
Or is it a local loop? I'm just not sure. So Kate, obviously, we're talking about this one.
I'm here, I've got the document
Yeah.
with that. And then
So, okay. So I'm just gonna put this down as another open item on this item. Oops, I already have it here, look at this.
Okay.
Guess I would add this in.
So
Okay.
that would be something to ask.
Yeah, somebody who has some historical knowledge, we can answer those. Okay. All right. Anybody else have comments or suggestions, other items of interest for this area? These two sections? And again, this is, as I mentioned to someone in an email, I guess maybe Barbara, this is a first pass at it. This is not finalization, we'll get the, or passes, but get a first pass at it and then start getting other people who might have knowledge involved and get them to, I wanted us to have the first pass at it and get them involved, see if they can clarify some of these things. All right, this is 2 and 3. Who has 4 and 5?
I believe I have.
think
I
that-
have 5 and, I thought I had 5 and 6.
The next one would be Round Hill to Newton Road.
Round Hill.
Well, see, the problem is,
No, that was part of that one, I think, wasn't it?
yeah.
That's not,
this is section 3.
yeah, that was mine.
Yep, sorry, I scrolled up. So
Valerie has 4 and
so-
Go
5.
down.
So section 4,
That's Valerie.
I thought I had 5 and 6. I had 4.
You had 4 and 5.
Okay.
okay. All right, so Valerie sent me some notes. Let me get this this a little bigger. And might be able to do one more. This is the boardwalk section. I'll just give you a second to read the first few entries here to get the background. It's all one parcel of land, so there wasn't much going over there. My original document had a mistake on the address that Valerie noticed, and we got corrected. And on that section, we didn't have any open items. Any comments from anybody on that one?
That'd be
I
fun
can
to
read
walk.
that. Paul, can you read that? I can't, Tim, what is that? I can't read that. I can't-
Do you want me to read it out loud?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Russell Estate, an extraordinary, Newton Road to Seymour Road, Bolden's River, Section 4. Russell Estate, an extraordinary trail and boardwalk threads its way through the diverse wetlands of the Bladen's River watershed. The town recently purchased this 41-acre parcel from the Russell family.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thought I could do that in the background.
And has named it the Peter M. Hunting Memorial. The historical ruins of a mill from the early Industrial Revolution along the Bladen's River affords opportunities for educational field trips. Bladen's River, contiguous property to the town, purchased 44 acres of Bladen's River tract. I don't know if it has an address, question. And adjoining 3.5 acre Kingbury parcel, question if there's an address, should be added where possible. The town of Bethany should be urged to acquire the lands on either side of the Fort Hill Brook as protected open space. A loop trail needs to be blazed. And then, so, does that help you, Valerie? Does that
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sense? When we're done with this, maybe we should make a note to talk to Bethany, town of Bethany.
In what regard?
To urge them to think about the importance of the piece of land that they own right nearby on the Fort Hill Brook.
Let's see. So, I'm sorry, down to Shreers.
That, it's that bullet
Fort Hill
right
Brook.
there.
There is now a whole section of trails called Bethany Farms. Development, and there's open space. And this trail start in Woodbridge and go into Bethany. Now, whether, my sense is, it is this parcel they're talking about. But I don't know Fort Hill Brook specifically.
So maybe it would be
let
worth
me-
asking Chris Sullivan,
Yeah.
because she might know,
Yeah.
or
Well, we
asking.
can look on the map to see where Fort Hill Brook is.
Fort Hill Brook
Uh,
obviously empties into Bladen's Brook.
And also just King has an S on that, in the bullet you did above it.
Okay. Okay, and that'll answer whether we need this. If that's Fort Hill Brook where those trails are, that means this is gone. Or, I'm sorry, this last item, we can take it out. Because
Well, I
it'll
think-
have been developed, they'll have done what was suggested 20 years ago.
Well, we should check though, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, to me, the key is if there's lands that now are owned by the town of Bethany or their land trust on either side of Fort Hill Brook, then we know that that's done.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Somebody make a note for me to look up one of the historic things that should be somewhere in that area, and I'm not sure exactly where it is, these markers that marked the boundary between New Haven and Naugatuck and Amity and all that sort of thing. And they're fascinating. They're actually rocks that people, when they check them out, would pile more rocks on top of them and engrave them and so forth, so. And there should be one there, somewhere. I'm not sure which part of this it should be in, but
And that's near the Bethany border?
it's somewhere near Round Hill, Bethany, in that area. And I keep forgetting to find out exactly where it is. But I have a strong feeling that the trails go very close, if not right by.
My hope, Barbara, is after we finish this editing, we don't have to be final draft, or we don't have to be final, final document, but at a point where it's appropriate, that we would engage the Historical Society and maybe we'll have a series of questions, but in addition, would have a request of, can they help us identify
Historic.
historical
Mhm.
locations of historical importance or artifacts of historical importance that we can list in here, and then get the location of, either through going there and taking the GPS coordinates, or maybe we'll discover that we want the trails group to blaze a little path to something historical, and we can put that in. That came up on our walk the other day, and we don't typically, I wouldn't expect us to be out blazing new trails. I think the trails group would look to the trails group and their volunteers to do that.
Yeah, we know that.
But identifying what's important along with the Historical Society, something that would be good for us in terms of partnering with them in this case. So, that's a good item to know about. I didn't know about those stones,
I
but
will,
others don't, but rather than, hit them one at a time, maybe we can just
I will bring that
make it
up
a project.
at our meeting, but I can say that I'm sure it will be very well received.
Yeah, we'll
as
maybe take
as a
a
project.
couple people who are interested and go over and just have maybe we can ask to be at one of their meetings and just talk to them about possibilities, and we, I don't have anything fixed and firm in mind, but I think there's something. we
When
should be
did
able to
those
put
markers
together.
date from?
1600s, 1700s, early 1700s. I'm looking at this map and I do not see this other Fort Hill Brook, but it doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Barbara, are we ready, or?
Tim, did you have anything about the Wallace Estates?
I think that is in this section, section number 5, and from some of the information you provided, I wrote that second paragraph. And so we can read that if you'd like to see.
The Wallace Estate is really the same as Elderslie.
Elderslie, yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, Elderslie was the Wallace Estate.
Well, maybe we should put that in there, so, because I think lots more people know Elderslie than Wallace.
Yeah.
My memory is looking that there were multiple parcels in the Wallace Estate.
Yeah. But doesn't it all
And
comprise?
they weren't all contiguous to, well, I'm going to stop there because I'm making it
But
up.
I think for a lot of people, myself included, I didn't know where the Wallace was, but as soon as you say Elderslie, I understand where
Yeah.
we're talking about. So
Yeah.
can we
Yeah.
put that in
Wallace's
parentheses or
owned
something?
all of that property is the thing.
Right.
And they may not have wanted their name used, I don't know. But
Yeah, but in the present time, people think of it as Elderslie, so it would be helpful if it's a document.
let
to
us
be used.
put it this way, all of Elderslie is Wallace. Now, whether there is,
all of Wallace's Elderslie is.
Right.
Is the yeah.
Right.
And that's where I started to go,
Yeah.
but I didn't have all the facts at
I
my
mean, I
fingertips, so I didn't.
So we could say.
I can
which-
certainly check that and see.
I think that it's noted down here in the notes, but we can put that up in this bigger note also.
Good.
I mean, I think that's something we can check and just,
So let me just add it at the end or now. And I'll look to wordsmith it a little bit. Why does it have a different name?
who?
It's the Elderslie Preserve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we know why it has a different name?
Why it has a different name?
Well, it was the
Wallace?
Wallace
It was
Estate.
the Wallace family.
Right.
Yeah. why
I
is
don't
it-
know
why do
what
we
the
call
name
it-
Elderslie means. I have no
Yeah.
idea why it was named that.
Yeah, we should find that out.
Mhm.
I think somebody in the land trust would know that, but, okay. So Valerie, I was saying this whole red section is the about the Wallace and how it was acquired and so forth.
Yeah.
Um, Other,
I haven't read that, but an interesting point which might be included here, if it's not, is the fact that the Wallace property was given, it was a crown gift back in the
yeah.
Just like the Beecher
1600s.
property
Yeah.
was
Well,
too.
That's the
And
type.
it stayed in the family until became public land.
That's the
I
type
recall that,
of
yeah.
historical detail I'd love to get out.
It was a land grant, right?
with-
Land grant, thank you very much, that's the,
To get with the Historical Society and do some type of, for more information or linkage to an expanded history of the property or the area. I mean, we can put in the fact that it's a land grant here.
I think,
But I think there's a lot the Historical Society could add.
actually, that was just a point of information for all of us. It wasn't necessarily to put it in,
Okay.
yeah,
then
no,
I
it was just,
Sorry.
I just throw these things out when I know them, so we all
Okay,
know.
well, they're great. So there's a couple of things. I wanted to talk about 124 Seymour Road. We'll see this on August 5th, and maybe it's better to have the detailed conversation after that, after you see it. But this essentially, you go up a shared driveway. And it's marked blue, and you feel like you're going into someone's house.
Mm.
You veer off the driveway before you get there, and you go up into the woods. The land records were very complex, and I have not been able to completely trace the easements for this yet. I think I'll leave it at that for now. And we'll see this when we go there, it'll be much more apparent. And now we know Barbara's comment, it's for sale.
Guys, I saw it on the MLS. Will those easements be conveyed with the transfer?
Well, I know it, at least the driveway easement will be conveyed. That will transfer with it.
Why do you separate the driveway easements from,
Because I can find the driveway easement.
okay, okay. It's the, all right.
Since I don't think I may have or may not have brought it with me, but I've always seen this term Demander Hatchet Harbor, and I finally found the source of this and found out what it is.
Demand or Hatchet Harbor,
Yes.
actually, that's not,
That
That's
was in the
erroneous.
original text. Demander Hatchet Harbor.
it's it's erroneous.
Yes, I believe it is.
Because Demander is the name, obviously Eric, everybody remembers him,
Right.
of that property 124, and he's the one that gave the easements, but nothing to do with the lodge in Hatchet Harbor.
Right. So I think we will strike Demander from our, let's maybe find where it is, up here. I think we'll just strike that. And I don't have tracking turned on, but, so we know what this is now. Just give me a second. Now, is Barbara, the Hatchet Harbor, is that this, in your mind, the same as the lodge?
Okay, the story is that the regicides, when they thought they were identified at West Rock, had to find another place to hide, and they were led to this area, which was named subsequently as the lodge because that's where they lodged. And as I understand it, when they were there, or when they got there or something, and I think the story is in this little pamphlet, one of them said something about, oh, would that we had a hatchet to do what we need to do, and suddenly they found a hatchet, and they thought it was a sign from God, and of course it was an Indian hatchet that had been left there, and so it has been known as Hatchet Harbor also.
So there's a location within this greater
There's a
property.
location, but I don't think anybody has ever definitively pinpointed exactly where it was. They just know it's within that lodge area.
Yeah.
And why they know that, I'm not sure. Other than I think it might have been in one of Stiles' books or something. I should make a note to look there.
Yeah, I have a little brochure that has that story in it that I'll try to bring when we walk it. And the actual lodge, location of the lodge, doesn't seem to be on the Blue Trail. I know the land trust has what's called the lodge property, but I have a map from Eric Demander which shows the property, and then it shows the lodge as a little circle that has another trail near it. I have to figure out. I'll bring those when we
I
take
had
the
always
walk.
heard that nobody had ever really determined, so Eric
Yeah.
may have thought he
Yeah.
did, but I'm
That's
sure.
why I want to bring it, and I'll show it at when we take the walk. Okay. So I think we've actually done this one, identified Demander Hatchet Harbor. I think we know what it is, even if we don't know really where it is. Okay. Next up is.
So Tim, I have a question.
Sure.
How many of these are we planning on doing tonight? Because I want to,
As many as we can get through. I'd like to
Leave.
finish them. It's, we got
Well,
3 more, right?
we have 3 more?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave in 15 minutes, so the more we can
Okay.
get done, the better. Before then.
Valerie, so we have, Paul, what sections were yours?
I'd have to look at the minutes. I think
Mine
it
are,
was,
mine are the next ones,
I
Barbara?
think I started at 8.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. So Barbara,
That was
I'm
8 and 9.
7 and 8, I am.
Oh, you're 7 and 8, and I'm 9 and 10 or something.
Barbara was,
Do you have the
Got it.
minutes there?
I
Kate,
got-
you still hanging with us?
I am. I have 8 and 9.
Okay. So this is, Barbara, this is yours. I have you on 6.
6, I can't remember, oh, here
Yeah,
it
so-
is.
So this is,
I'm 6 and 7, yes.
all right. Do you want to, let me blow this up again a little more.
10 and 11.
Okay, great, thank
And Barbara, do you want to talk to this at all?
just that I found that I did not verify that the address of Coachman's Lane, there is an entrance there, although I assume that most people would be coming from the Demander property, shall we say, through the lodge. And the Coachman's Lane gets you up to the trail up in the middle of the lodge.
Right, there's a nice big sign there, courtesy of the Land Trust. It's 15 Coachman's Lane, I looked it up.
It is, okay.
It is
it's-
the
I did
white
not.
trail.
That's a way to go, yeah.
And there is another entrance that I've discovered, but I have not actually physically gone there. But apparently there's another entrance, it's called the Blue and White Trail. And it's also from Coachman's Lane, but it's down further.
Oh,
And it's much shorter and gets you there much faster, I guess.
also on Coachman's, okay.
But on what I call the extension of Coachman's, and whether it's private property or not, I don't know, because I haven't been there
Maybe on
to
the
check.
5th, we can go over and
We
take a
can
look.
check and see, yeah.
Yeah.
If you, and then I did find that, you do go through a portion of the Elderslie Preserve next, which is 211, that is correct.
Right.
And that the Land Trust does have an easement on that.
Yep.
And then the 131 Peck Lane is Milford Meadows, which the trust owns.
This is Milford Meadows?
131 Peck Lane is Milford Meadow.
Let's note that in there. Okay.
And you say Peck, you mean Peck Road?
Peck
Hill Road?
Hill, Peck Hill,
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that. None of which I walked.
Yeah.
It's
I
going to be
believe
a
there's
new
an
experience.
entrance off Orchard Road also. I threw
You
that
can
in
get
there.
to it off of Orchard Road. You just keep on going
Yeah.
straight up Orchard Road.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just didn't, I need to find the map that has that noted on it.
Yes.
I didn't take the time to do that when I was working on it. It
I
may
got
be
more
on that
maps.
big map even.
Well, this one doesn't
we'll
have
get
the
address.
trails. This one doesn't have the trails, it just
Yeah.
has the properties.
Okay.
But I have a map here that is,
This one?
that's the one, yeah. And it does show it going, where am I? I've lost myself. It does show it going up in there. Maybe it's this one.
Okay. Well, I've noted that down as something we can look up
Anyway,
as one of the open issues.
okay.
The section number 7 was the other part Barbara looked at.
Okay, and again, of course, 131 is Milford Meadow,
Yeah.
and it's
Okay.
owned by the trust. And there's no particular parking, there's no real access except by
No.
the places we've talked, the trails we've talked about.
And it may be, I should have pointed out that I kind of evolved in my thinking to think that maybe we should have two different lines here. One is the primary public access would be the access at either end of the section.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondary access is, I don't know, I guess I said other public access are places in the middle that you can get into the trail.
But for instance, Milford Meadow, well, it does have access on one end, but
Right.
the other end is the middle of the trail.
Right.
Just like the lodge, there, you know,
Right.
you're, although the lodge does, interesting enough, go right along Coachman's Lane,
Right.
Square Lane, Road, whatever it is.
With- So we could probably add 15 Coachman Lane to that. Okay.
And here it says Wallace Estate, I think that's all Elderslie, but that we have to determine. And then we come to the question mark.
What's that?
Well, the end of this puts you out on the end of North Racebrook Road,
Right.
where there is parking. And there are two ways you can go to get over to the entrance to the trails that go down to Weppawag Vaults.
Is that at the corner of North Racebrook and Indian Trail? Is that what you're talking
Indian,
about?
right,
Oh,
Indian
okay.
Trail, right. And you can either walk down Indian Trail, which is all of
Town Road, that's the
a
one
town
that's,
road, and it's about,
that's the one outlined here, Indian Trail Road,
right,
the Town Road, a road walk, and then the 44 Indian Trail Road, which is the entrance
to
Weppawag.
to Weppawag, right. And it's all of about 4/10 of a mile or something like that, in a pretty back road.
Right.
Or you can go onto Forest Glen, which is also cuts off right there too, and get to the Indian Pond and walk through that, and it's almost across the street from the entrance to Weppawag. And Weppawag Falls. I just don't know whether you can walk through Indian Pond. I don't know whether
Well-
it's a pure swamp, just a pond, or what.
Well, here, I tried to find that. I think this is the property, let me get this a little bit.
It's owned by the trust, Indian
Right.
Pond.
So here's Indian Trail. Let me do it this way for everybody. Here's Indian Trail Road. Kate, I've switched over to a town GIS. I'm not sure you can see this, but here's Indian Trail Road. You walk down the road, and this is the path, the land trust owned piece of property that you can walk into Weppawag Falls.
You mean Alice Newton?
Yeah. The back end of
The back end of Alice Newton Street
Yeah.
Park. Not properly, it's the land trust owns that part.
Yes.
It's not part of Alice Newton Street Park.
Okay.
It's hard to tell where one ends, but they are distinct. I believe what Barbara's talking about is that there's a piece
Right at
of
the
property
curve,
here at 35 Indian Trail. I'm going to make this bigger now. That is owned by the Woodbridge Land Trust, and this must be Indian Trail Pond. You said?
It's called Indian Pond, yeah.
Okay.
And there is according to this, there is an entrance, a protected entrance from Forest Glen.
Well, yeah, I don't see it. I haven't been able to see it. There is as the map gets bigger, off Forest Glen, you'll see a 30-foot drainage right of way.
That's different.
That's different. And it doesn't actually even go into that piece of property.
This little map, this map of the the different
Yeah.
parks and T1s and T2s and so forth, shows an actual little connecting section.
It does. Between what addresses?
Well, it doesn't have the addresses.
What is that blue thing? Isn't that the trail between the two?
This
Yeah.
is a water course.
Oh. I see.
This is a river or a brook.
Okay.
It's probably the Weppawag River,
Yeah.
right? And we go into Weppawag Falls.
Where's so it's right where that blue thing separates and comes back together again. That's the pond, I
That's the
believe.
pond, right? This
Yeah.
is the land trust property.
And up on Forest Glen,
Yeah.
it says that there's an entrance. This says there's an entrance. Now, it may be wrong, this map.
They are maybe dated.
Well, the map is, what, 2020?
Okay, then it's a, well,
I mean, I guess all we do is ask
Yeah,
the trust, they know.
maybe after the meeting,
And
let me take a quick look at that, and figure out what property that's
where
supposed
is
to go
my
over.
open
'Cause this is-
space?
There's no
I can't find
apparent
anything.
easement, a lot of the easements are shown on the maps, but there's no apparent easement here, so why don't we leave that as an open item?
I just wanted to see
and
what,
we'll move on. So that was Forest Glen, right? Entrance,
so you can do either way, that's my point.
if it exists. And we'll
Is there
find-
actually a fall there?
Hmm?
On Wafflewog, is there actually a waterfall?
Yeah,
Alston
the
Park.
trust owns the back
Okay.
end of. We're right here, and this is what I'm talking about, you come out at the end here, and you can either go down here and get onto the Whipple Falls is there,
Oh, okay.
and it's owned by the trust, and this is Alice Newton Street, so it's contiguous.
Oh.
And this is the Indian Pond, and see, it shows an entrance right there.
Mhm.
If you go this way and down through it and then there, or you can go completely on the road.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
This, which would have been wonderful to connect.
Kate,
I remember you mentioning that, yeah, they're building a house.
Yeah.
which section did you have?
8 and 9.
8 and 9, okay, and I've got the wrong one open.
Now, where is, I have this.
Do you want me to email you mine that's marked up?
No, I have it here, I just didn't have it opened up.
Just for anyone else's reference, this is actually working really well if you have
Good.
YouTube.
Is it really?
Yeah,
You
it's
can-
great.
You can hear the other dialogue? Some of it?
Switch back to theirs, but yeah, you can see very clearly. It's
Okay, great. So we were now on Kate's section. I'm going to blow it up a little bigger for the screen. And Kate, I'll probably ask if you want to comment. Section number 8. Get it
Is it-
centered on the screen. Wappapag Falls to Center Road. And-
is it easier if I talk louder? Can people there hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah, they said they could hear you.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so as you can see, on section 8, the landfill, in conversations with Warren from the Department of Public Works, we can't be taking, they need more space, not less, so I struck that section. And then, I added a quote from the Amity Woodbridge Historical Society about Rice Pond to the section, since it seemed like we wanted to have more of that historical context. There weren't any changes that I had to the addresses in that section.
Okay.
So I don't know, do you want me to go on to the next one, Tim, or do we talk about it?
See, anybody had questions or comments or other suggestions for the section?
No?
Mm-mm.
I think we're good, didn't?
Okay.
And I'm centering, and I've got your other section centered, section 9.
Okay, so I updated the address. I did change the word must to should. And we might all have feelings about that, and that's okay. I added the information about the dog park addition that is being used in the center of the cornfield. In terms of public entryway, updated the address information. And those were all of my changes for that section.
Yeah. Kate, I guess I'm going to maybe want to restructure as I started to in a number of the other sections, to put in a primary access for the ends, the two ends of the section, and then a secondary access point, so we haven't done that with what you had sent in. So a couple of those things might move around, but I won't take any of them out.
That's okay, I trust your judgment on that. I mean, it's a tricky property because
Yeah.
it's a closed loop, so.
Right. Any other questions on Kate's?
No.
Okay. All right. I don't think I changed anything, but I'll save it. And then Paul is, again, I did the typing on this. So Paul, let me get that bigger so you can see it. Maybe comment on anything you want to. This one's pretty straightforward, I think, Paul,
I
right?
think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed so.
So,
I think Sharon's the expert on this section, though.
Not really.
I mean, you know, we could talk about whether this has relevance.
Right, I don't really even know where that is.
Well, the 5 Newton Road, the property, why does that sound like the wrong address now?
Library is 10, so it's
I'm
probably
going to show you on the map that I had back up.
Oh, that is, I know where that is. That's right next to Land Trust property across
Right.
from our house.
Right. I want to check whether that's the right address. So let me do it this way. Let's see, Center Road. Oops. There's the park. Sorry, this is jumping on me.
No, go down.
That's the multi-con.
Yeah, no, go up. Go up with your arrow.
Let me make it bigger. So the piece we're
Yeah.
talking about is this piece.
Got it.
It is 5 Newton Road.
Okay.
So that this semi.
And the next piece is Land Trust.
Yeah, and this is Land Trust. And this is part of the church property. And so I think there was that bullet point said something about, hey, if we can connect over here, and through here, we can get to the high school, which is here. This is all high school. There's
Yeah,
some
except
private
there's-
houses here,
Yeah, I
but
don't think that was.
you can
worthwhile.
connect up. So, I mean, the question is,
That's a lot of wetlands. It's a lot of swamp.
Yes.
it's a lot of wetlands,
It is.
and, you know, what's the intent? What are we gaining?
I don't think anything.
What's that?
I don't think anything. I
Yeah.
don't think it's.
I mean, there's gonna be sidewalks now to go into the high school. You know, I'm not sure what we're gaining up through there. I mean, I know there's, in the back of the high school, there's Newton Road Park, which is owned by the Woodbridge Park Association, and that has a set of trails that are being improved over time. It's a very, again, wet piece of property, and there have been some Boy Scout projects to build boardwalks over those.
back of the high school?
Yeah.
On the other side of the street, right?
But, it's the back of,
It runs from the, I'll show you on the map, but it runs from the back of the high school along, parallel to Newton Road to Hampton Drive. So, let me reduce this down. And
that's the high school.
I did a lot of work on this, so I'm very familiar with it.
There's a trail that anyone can go on?
Oh, yeah, yeah. There's a couple trails, actually. So, and this is one of those unfortunate circumstances. But here, this is the baseball field. There are
Right.
soccer fields,
Right?
right? Baseball field. In back of here, it's down a little steep. you know, I call it a real steep hill. It's unfortunate, or you can walk up to where it gets flatter up here, and you can get in, and there's a trail. There's one trail that goes, there's a Woodbridge Park Association sign right here, and then there's a trail, the white trail goes all the way here to Hampton Drive. There's another trail that got laid in that does essentially a loop, probably goes, not there, up,
Wow.
down in here. And then up here, there's a very small little loop that goes someplace, doesn't go too far because this is very wet. And so,
That would be fun to walk sometime.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I see. Oh.
don't walk it in the wet weather. It's not, it needs some work, but over time it'll get there with some Boy Scout help. But, so there's, you know, unfortunately, you can tell by the way the sign is, the sign faces the baseball field. And there was lack of vision, and somebody didn't preserve the entrance for the public to the trails over here. When the new fields and the new high school got built. Be that as it may, you know, all that land is there for the Park Association, and, you know, I guess you could say, hey, the public could, you know, maybe want to walk from Fitzgerald and get down over there and walk a loop or something, but
I mean, there's a point at which it actually, not where the high school is, but up further where it actually hits Newton Road.
where what hit Newton
Where
Road?
the-
Oh, yeah, the Park Association land does hit Newton Road.
So I mean, an entrance to those trails could be
There is an entrance there.
There is an entrance,
There is an
I've seen
entrance
that.
there. You've driven by it
and I don't see it.
500 times and
Yeah.
you haven't seen it.
Yeah, no,
It's-
I didn't
it's
even
very-
know all this
And there's no parking.
was here.
It's very hard. And there's, Hampton Drive is a little street parking.
Mm-hmm.
In any case,
Wow.
we've got a field, but, you know, do we need this item, has been my question.
Why don't we leave it in and talk about it later after we
Okay.
have things about it?
So let me just make a note of that, Sharon. Point taken. Just, well, I'll deal with that later. What's that called? Hoffman property.
That's the Hoffman property. Ah. Okay.
Okay, I'll straighten that out later. Thank you, Kate. All right, and, oh, Paul, and this is Paul's, I'm sorry. And we go on to the second section of Paul's. And well, it wasn't a bunch here either.
Right.
Most of us are familiar with this part of town. I can. It's hard to pick. So, right away from.
So there, did you want,
I may
Can
have added
everybody
this
read
part,
this?
Paul, because of.
Valerie, can you read that? Do you want me to read it to people? Should I read it, Tim?
Sure. Go
The
right.
41 Hitchcock-Alegi property, 52 Center Road, has been purchased for open space and will accommodate greenway trails and multi-use playing fields. I'm not sure it has trails, but right of way from dead end of Woodside Drive into Alegi parcel, 52 Center Road, along the eastern border of Arnold property, 127 Beecher Road, or through the western side, 135 Woodside Drive should be acquired. I don't know that anything has been done with that.
Right, all right,
I
so
think there's a waterway there too.
let's take it one at a time. This was in the former document. Do we need it anymore? Because this is a reality. This has been a reality.
I don't think there's any trails there. I mean, people can walk around, but I have never seen
Yeah.
trails.
Well, okay, the Yeah, not all of these, the comments that have been there related to trails. Some are just, the original document tried to talk about the land in that section,
I see.
where
Okay.
land should be obtained, potentially, or land was being obtained, or in the process of being obtained. And so, or where land needed to be obtained in order to put in a better, so you wouldn't have to walk on a road. I think this was in the original document because town didn't own the alleged property then. But now they do, just saying, this is not of any historical interest, should we
Right.
just get rid of it?
Okay.
To edit it. I just wanted to make sure people feel okay about doing that. As far as whether the Greenway Trails runs through it, when we talk about the expansion, you'll see that there is one expansion of the Greenway that would have the Greenway coming, just outline it quickly, high level. JCC, East Side Burial Ground, across Pease Road, through this property, and then I added, I'm not sure, I'd have to look back how much I added. I think I added a little bit about the addresses or through the western side of Woodside Road. They even talked at the time if the trail came through here, the Leggy property, you could cross over from there and meet up with where the Greenway exists as it comes off Beecher Road.
The only problem with this is, I don't think that's really very much of a greenway. It's the parking lot of the JCC. It's a
We'll look at that one.
cemetery, and it's a playing field. I mean, it's nice to have a trail, but it doesn't really maintain the pristine nature of anything, in my opinion.
Yes. We'll look at that when we get to the extensions. But so I guess they had part of this in here, and I added some information about the Beecher Road, or Paul did, I can't remember which one of us. There were two places you could get these. So are we okay with deleting the first one?
Sure.
Just as unnecessary? Because it doesn't add a lot. Any other comments on this? Where are we, 9 o'clock? That's probably a good time to wrap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So let me say thank you to all. I know it's somewhat of a slog,
Oh,
but
I just had information for you. The Indian Pond
yeah.
is number 76 Forest Glen Drive.
Good going.
Okay. The question is, where's the cut through from?
Right.
That's with the cut through?
Pardon?
No, that's just where.
That must be where the cut through is, because Indian Pond is
Yeah, I'll
not,
look a
doesn't,
little more.
isn't contiguous with Forest Glen.
Okay.
So there must be,
There was a sign at the corner of, or at the end of North Racebrook and the start of Indian Trail right there.
yeah,
Or the starting
there,
of the
right,
trail.
but if you keep going down Forest Glen, apparently it's 76. I'll take a look at it over the weekend, just see what it
Yeah.
says.
Great.
Adjourn the meeting?
You may.
Second.
And without discussion, we will adjourn at 9:02 or 9:03. The angle on the clock is not good. Thank you all.
Am I crazy?
Thank you.
This is a